two, nothing and. Chocolate and tan, yeah, two as well. And one was like Lola.
What's going on, legends? Justin here from The Short Straw. Today we have a bit of a redemption story. We've got my cousin Jason in the house today. He's got a lot to tell. He's got a big story. He's turned his life around. He's suffered through addiction and whatnot else. But we'll kick it off, Jace. Thanks for joining, bro. Thanks for sharing this story, man, because you've come from the bottom and now you're pretty much at the top, man, aren't you?
I'm getting there. I'm getting there,
yeah. So where should we start? Probably like a bit of your childhood, where you grew up. You know, was mum and dad around?
Yeah.
Where does it all begin?
I grew up in Broadmeadows. My earliest memories, I suppose, are probably just before primary school.
Yeah.
My mum and dad unfortunately separated. My dad went away to jail and they sort of separated, which I suppose was the beginning of my the start of my depression, so to speak. You know,
when your parents split up.
Yeah.
What age were you then?
I would have been about 6 years old.
Yeah.
I suppose just before I started primary school.
Yeah. And you got siblings?
Yeah, I've got one blood brother.
Yeah.
His name's Dwayne. He's got cerebral palsy and Down syndrome.
Is he older or younger?
3 years younger than me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How old are you?
51.
51. Yeah.
51 young.
Getting there, mate. Yeah. So Dwayne, so you grew up with Dwayne, or?
On and off, basically.
So he would have been 3 years old. You were 6
yes,
when your parents split up.
Yes, and unfortunately back then there wasn't a lot of services for disabled people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was quite hard for my mum to sort of, I suppose, accept and deal with Dwayne the way he was and all that sort of stuff. So she ended up putting him into a home where people could sort of care for him a bit better.
Was that about 3 years old he was, or was
it would have been just past that or around that age, yes, because that was when my dad was sent to jail and things become quite difficult for her, I guess.
So what did they split? Did they split because he went to jail, or?
I think it was a combination of that and my dad sort of enjoyed the company of lots of different women.
Oh, okay.
Which I don't think my mum obviously didn't agree with too much.
Yeah.
I think that was a big part of the problem. I don't know exactly, mate. I mean, it's between them two at the end of the day. But the way it actually affected me was quite traumatic, you know.
Yeah, so Dwayne ended up under some care?
Yeah, he went to foster parents.
Foster parents, and what happened with you when your parents split?
I stayed with my mum while my dad was in jail, and I sort of stayed with my mum and a combination of my nan.
Yeah.
Which was our nan.
Yeah.
And then my dad came out of jail, and when he came out of jail, he went and got remarried again and got himself quite settled down, and actually went and got Dwayne out of foster care before he would have potentially been taken away to New Zealand.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, with the foster parents that he had, and I potentially may not have seen him again. So, you know, that's something I hold quite dear.
So you still got contact with Dwayne now?
Yeah, probably not as much as I'd like to, but yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And your dad, where's he right now?
He lives up north, up near the Murray. Yeah, he's doing quite well. Both my parents ended up meeting partners that they've both been with for a fair amount of time now.
Yeah. So you split, your parents split, you were 6 years old. How long were you, like, what was the journey with your mum and everything like that?
It was quite very, very unsettled, I suppose, is probably a good way to put it, in the sense of, you know, I changed schools through primary school and high school probably about 10, 11 times.
Yeah, right.
So it was quite
Bit unstable.
very unstable. Mate.
I went through the same thing with mum. We moved around a lot. So you moved around a lot, or you?
Yeah.
And always changing schools. I've experienced that too, yeah. So what you went? You how far did you go in school?
I actually left 2 weeks before the end of year 12.
Oh, wow.
Which was quite silly of me, really. You know,
Yeah.
2 weeks I had to go, but being at a young age, I suppose you think you know better, and
Yeah.
I wanted to go out and get a job and earn some money. And
Yeah. So you grew up in Broadmeadows, sort of, yeah.
pretty much between there was a fair few places. There was Broadmeadows, there was
Yeah, okay.
Collingwood,
Yeah.
Doncaster, lots of Broadford.
So how did you go, like, in school? Good grades and
I was always labelled as a good student,
yeah,
as in behaviour.
yeah,
But because of the erratic moving, I think it was a little bit difficult for me to comprehend exactly what was expected of people at that grade. But when it came to things like mathematics, I was actually pretty good at mathematics. But English and stuff like that, I tended to struggle a little bit with. Any trade subjects in high school, I absolutely blitzed.
yeah. Very similar. Must be in the genes.
It must be, cuz, must be.
Yeah, right. So you moved around a fair bit. Like, what was, like, relationship with your mum like? Did you have a good relationship with your mother?
Yeah, I absolutely adored both my parents, mate. Although when I was with mum, a lot of people would bag my dad, and when I was with dad, a lot of people would bag my mum. And it didn't really matter how much either side of it did that. At the end of the day, I sort of loved them both anyway, you know what I mean? Without them, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like I've grown up sort of around you. You know, you're a bit older than me, and
Yeah.
I've always been inspired and, like, very comfortable around you. You're a good man. You've got a good soul, and
Right back at you,
I've
cuz.
always seen that, man, and I've always enjoyed your company. It's been so good, and I think we resonate very much to each other because we've experienced very similar things, and
Absolutely,
you know,
mate.
the bit of a rough upbringing and whatnot. So yeah, I just feel that strong connection with you, because it's.
Right back at you, mate.
But there's a lot more to the story. There's, like, you know, you've ended up going down the road of addiction, you know. So we'll sort of touch on that a bit, like. So I can't really say the word on YouTube, but the H.
Yep.
You ended up getting on the H. What age was that?
I would have been 19. 19. I started experimenting with speed,
Yeah.
snorting that, and with that I pretty quickly, unfortunately, got introduced to the needle. And
Tell me about that first experience. What was that like that first
oh my
hit?
goodness, it was.
Because I just hear, like, people. I've never touched it.
Yep.
And I've just heard a lot of stories like that first hit is just boom, that just hooks you.
Of the actual heroin, yes.
Yeah.
But my first one was actually of the speed. And,
Oh, really?
Yeah, but like when you start snorting that sort of stuff, it takes like 15, 20 minutes for it to come on.
But when
you have it with a syringe, it's like instantaneous.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's the attraction.
Yeah.
You know, and then from that, I obviously never ever wanted to move on to the H stuff, but curiosity kills the cat, I guess. And from the first moment I had that, mate, I was in unbelievable love with it.
Yeah.
The sense of euphoria, the escape was boundless.
So how were you introduced to that? Were you around a crowd that were doing that, or were you sort of partying? What was the deal there?
Well, I suppose I was with a certain group of friends who were obviously experimenting with stuff like that, and
You were just in the right place at the wrong time.
pretty much, pretty much, mate, pretty pretty much, buddy. Coincidentally, as a young kid, I lived in the Hoddle Street flats on the 15th floor, and for some funny reason, I ended up having my very first taste of the H in the laundry on the 15th floor, which was right near where I used to live.
Right. Because that was pretty active back in the day.
Everybody and anybody was getting onto that particular substance, mate, in that era. It was crazy.
Tell me more about the Hoddle Street flats. What was that like living in? How long were you there for?
I think we were there we lived in Easy Street, which was just around the corner from the Hoddle Street flats, for a little bit, for about, would have been 6 to 12 months or something like that.
Yeah.
I think. And then we ended up getting a flat in the Hoddle Street flats after that. And
that was with your mum?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was just you and your mum?
My mum and my stepdad.
Okay, yeah.
And I had a little half brother at that point. His name was Jeremy.
Yeah, I remember Jeremy very well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were talking before, like you met a few people in those flats, and like you're mentioning Chopper Reed and.
Yeah, that was more so when I became an addict. I had a dealer. His name was Jimmy, and he was obviously pretty good friends with Chopper.
Yeah.
And I didn't realise it was actually Chopper Reed until I walked in one day and went to hand Jimmy the money to go and get me what I needed. And I looked over into an armchair, and I looked over and went to Jimmy, who does this guy think he is? Chopper Reed? And all of a sudden the guy put his head up and looked at me, and I just sat back down. Oh my God, it actually is.
Wow. So yeah, you were around during the Chopper days.
He was a cool cat though, man.
Yeah.
Very, 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 I can't say enough good things about him, mate.
Yeah, you were saying like, you gave him a lift somewhere.
I gave him a lift, up to Smith Street, and bloody he put $20 worth of fuel in the car and brought all my kids ice creams and packets of chips, and he was just such a genuinely, I thought, a very, very, very cool, down-to-earth person.
Well, there you go. And the picture that's portrayed on Chopper is just that he's a monster.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Like
far from it, mate. Far from it. I think that's the same with most things, mate. What the public perceive things as isn't always what it actually is.
Yeah.
You got to look a bit deeper and.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a lot of good intentions from bad people. In a way.
Yeah.
They may not be doing the right thing, but they've got the right intentions, but they're obviously caught up in whatever they're in.
That's right. That's right.
So, and for a bit of context as well, so Jimmy, you were saying Jimmy was the guy that ended up stabbing Chopper in prison?
Yes.
Wow.
Jimmy, yeah.
So they were sort of friends. I didn't know this really. Like, I've watched the Chopper movie and everything, and I didn't know they were good mates like that. So Jimmy was the dealer, or Chopper was sort of...
Jimmy had the contacts, I suppose.
Yeah.
Would be more so the point, you know what I mean? He wasn't necessarily the dealer.
Yeah,
He just had the contacts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what sort of, in your eyes, was like Chopper's role in the streets back in the day? What was he... What do you know about that?
in all honesty, I probably don't.
Or you were sort of probably too busy doing your own thing?
Yeah. I didn't really. I didn't get to know him back then. I sort of got to know him after all the hype.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really didn't know him back in his younger days. He may have been a little bit different back then.
Yeah.
But the time I did get to know him, he was just such a cool, down-to-earth, genuinely good person, you know what I mean, in my eyes.
There you go, guys. So that's interesting. That's very interesting. So your first dabble with the H was when you were about 19 years old?
Yes, that's correct.
And how long did that go for? How long were you hooked on that for?
Oh my God. I would have been in my mid-40s.
Wow. So, yeah, 20 plus years.
Mm.
And what was that like? Did you, was there ups and downs? Did you?
Oh, plenty. Probably more so downs than ups.
Yeah.
But you start off having it and it's like a, it really affects you, and like as in you feel, you know, you get quite stoned and you sort of like pretty much out of it. And then eventually as time goes on, instead of feeling that sort of feeling, it's more so you need that to, you need to have that substance just to function on a normal level.
So you sort of build up a tolerance.
Yeah.
But you still need it. It doesn't give you the high that you used to get.
That's right.
Yeah.
But you always need more.
Yeah.
It's like Oliver, you know, Oliver Twist on steroids, you know. Please, sir, can I have some more? Yeah. It's never enough.
So did it increase how much you were taking over time, or?
Yeah, well, I started off having, like, getting a $50 rock, and that would go between three of us and keep us all pretty happy. Yeah. And towards the end of I was shooting up a 1.7 to myself.
Wow.
So that's the sort of increment you're looking
per
at.
day, you're saying, yeah?
Yeah, 3 times a day.
3 times a day. Wow. Yeah. So 1.7 over 3 days, over 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. And so how long were you in that loop for? Because I remember when I was young, you know, my dad used to live with you. You know, we were always sort of connected and catching up at some stage. But I remember when you were on the methadone program.
Yep.
I think you're on the program for a while.
Good 20 odd years, yeah.
20 years. Wow. So you were dabbling with the H and doing the methadone program, or how did that come about?
Well, what we used to do was, if you had the methadone, it sort of masked the effect you get from the H. Okay. So you'd try and go and have your taste of the H, and then eventually go and have your methadone. And that way you wouldn't have to use as much H. Okay. So it was sort of like a cost-saving scenario, you know what I mean, with the methadone. So do you think that helped? Did that help you? Absolutely, mate. Without that, I think I would have had a lot of trouble functioning enough to work or do anything like that, you know what I mean? And also try and maintain the family I've created. Yeah, so, you know, you got a big family, man. 5 kids? Yeah, 6. Is that right? 6 kids? 6. Who am I missing? So you got Dakota. Tristan, Jacob, Brody, Emily, Dakota, Isabella. Yeah, that's right. Wow, so 6 kids, man. I was very lucky to meet a quite a beautiful person, mate. My missus. She stuck by my side through thick and thin, and you know, all the ups and downs. How long have you guys been together? 32 years on the 17th of this month. 32 years. So how old were you when you met her? I was 19, she was 16. Right, wow. So you were going through that journey sort of together, yeah? We did, mate, we did. I started off on the H, and every time, well, we had my younger brother Jeremy living with us, because my mum, he was a bit difficult for her to sort of handle. So, still is, I think. He's a character.
He is a character, yeah. Much love to Jeremy. I hope he,
I fucking
finds peace somewhere.
I
within him.
fully miss him, cuz I really
Yeah.
do. I love the kid more than he can probably comprehend. But
Yeah, because
anyway,
he struggled with his own addiction and
he still
everything.
does.
Yeah.
You know, he still does.
Still fighting those
I
demons.
had Jeremy living with me, and him and Justine used to pretty much fight for my attention. So I'd come home from work and Jeremy would come running out of the house going, Justine's done this, that, this, and this. And then all of a sudden I'd go inside and friggin' Justine would be like, Jeremy's done this, and this. And then I'd just throw my hands up in the air and say, fuck it, go jump in the car and go and get on.
Yeah.
To sort of escape the chaos, so to speak. And that was a big part of the beginning of my habit, yeah.
Yeah. So a bit of pressure from things that are happening around you, or do you...
Two people that I cared a hell of a lot about.
Yeah. Okay, so there was a lot of conflict in the household with your partner, your brother,
Yep.
Justine and Jeremy, putting you under the pressure to go and score.
Pretty much. There was a little bit prior to that too, but yes, it led up to that. That was sort of the...
It was a trigger.
Yeah, it was the cherry on top, so to speak, you know, to push me to that.
So what do you think, what else ended up contributing to that?
I think my parents, when they met new partners and ended up having other kids and other stepbrothers and sisters and stuff like that, I never really felt, me personally, I never felt important enough, you know, and that's where I suppose a bit of the worthlessness came out, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like that was the start of my not appreciating myself, not loving myself.
So you felt like you were a bit neglected.
To a degree, yes. Yeah, I did feel that way. It might not have been the case, but that's how I felt. You know?
Yeah. So parents splitting up, finding new partners, having children,
new kids,
living the life, looking after the kids, happy family and everything like that. And there you were.
I sort of felt like an outsider.
Yeah.
To a degree.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, that makes sense, man. Let's talk more about your dad. Like, what did he go to prison for?
He went to prison for armed robbery.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how long was he in prison for?
I think he was, don't quote me on this, but I think it was about 10 years he was sentenced to.
Wow.
But he got out in 7 years for good behaviour.
Did you have contact with him when he was in prison?
I think I seen him maybe once or twice.
Yeah, wow.
In that 7-year period.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we were talking earlier about him, and by the sounds of it, he was a bit of a hard ass.
Yeah, well, he, both of his parents passed away when he was about 10.
Yeah.
His mum died first, and then 2 weeks later his dad died, unfortunately, of a broken heart. And that made my dad an orphan. And he was sent to a pretty notorious home in Geelong.
Like a boys' home or something?
Yeah.
Wow,
yes.
yeah.
And so that would have been quite hard for him. And then he had a sister, her name was Sue, who, when he was 16, got him out of the home and actually took him on and helped him to sort of come into his adult years and stuff like that.
Yeah, wow. Back to the armed robbery, you were saying that, like, how did he get pinched on that? What happened? What happened behind that?
The story is, and I suppose everyone's got a story, but from what I've been told, he had 2 other people that were doing it with him, and they went out and spent their money like half-wits.
Yeah. And
got busted, and then dobbed him in.
Yeah.
So
right.
He was quite a smart criminal-minded person, I suppose, in the sense of doing what he did and trying to set himself up, but unfortunately it didn't.
Yeah. And tell me, like, when your dad got released from prison, we were touching on this earlier.
Yep.
Where, like, he come out like a
He
machine.
came out built like a brick shithouse, mate.
Yeah.
The guy was a monster.
Yeah.
He was extremely big. And yeah, I'll never forget, I was living in a place in Clifton Hill at the time, Geach Street, and I came home from primary school and I seen him standing out the front of the house, and I don't think I've ever ran so fast. You know, to sort of jump into his arms and him to hug me, and
Yeah.
it was quite a special moment. He actually had a really long beard at the time, and one of the first things I said to him was, "You got to shave that beard." And straight away he went up to the barbers and
No way.
yeah, got that done, and
Wow.
you know, cleaned himself up.
That's unreal. And how old were you then? So
I
when
would
you
have
got
been grade 3, so I would have been at 9, 10 years old, maybe.
Yeah.
11.
Yeah. Yeah, wow. Yeah, that would be tough, having your old man locked up for that long.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a big piece of your life missing for a long time.
Yes, yeah.
And not only that, like, all your kids, man, they're amazing individuals, man. Like you've brought up some beautiful kids, man. You got your son contributing to the Salvation Army.
Yep.
Does a lot of things for the community and everything like that. Like, what did you do, man? How did you make that up? And going through the trials and everything that you went through.
I think it's basically you got to break the cycle.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, mate. You know what I mean? A lot of people, from what I've watched in my life, you know, a lot of people tend to follow the same cycle as monkey see, monkey do sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I think I always wanted to break that cycle, so to speak, and try and find a woman and do whatever I had to do to stick fat by her. I was quite lucky to find her because she stuck fat by me too. And create the beautiful family that we have, you know. I think I wanted kids from when I was in primary school. I know it might sound silly.
Yeah.
But I wanted kids in primary school, like I wanted to do things the total opposite of what I was feeling when I was growing up.
Yeah, a lot of us strive to do that. Like, we don't want to repeat the same mistakes, but we're not perfect. We're still going to make our own mistakes, you know.
Perfection is insanity.
Yeah, exactly.
It is, mate. It really is.
Exactly. But mate, I commend you, bro. You've created such a beautiful family, beautiful people.
Extremely lucky, mate. I really am. You know?
Yeah, man. Going back to your addiction, like, did you say you were 40, in your 40s that you started breaking that addiction?
Yeah, it would have been mid-40s.
Mid-40s you were breaking that addiction?
Yeah.
What did that take? Well,
we were pretty intensive with our addiction side of things, so it took a fair bit of money to sort of like fund what we were doing.
Yeah.
So we were dealing marijuana.
Yeah.
To Rob and Peter to pay Paul, so to speak. And there was just one particular police officer who, most police officers didn't really care too much because it was only pot that we were dealing. They weren't really overly concerned about it.
Yeah.
But there was one copper who, I don't know, I suppose he took a personal trait to the whole subject and tried to pursue us. He was with a group of his co-workers at the Northland Shopping Centre, and I'd actually gone there to do a drop-off. And he came up to me and was trying to give me a bit of, trying to put me down, so to speak. And I turned around and said to him, listen, mate, it's not a game of checkers, it's a game of chess, and I'm 5 moves ahead of you, cunt. And with that, all of his coeys just sort of laughed at him. And with that, because he felt so pissed off, I suppose, he pursued me pretty flat out. And he tried to get us a few times, and it didn't sort of work out. And then eventually he got me with a bag of dope, a bag of marijuana, and tried to sort of like get me to crack in the cop shop and stuff like that, and then threw me in the Yellow Submarine for 4 days. He knew I wasn't on methadone or anything like that, and I had a pretty big habit, so it was quite full on. And anyway, I came out of that and came back home and sort of said to the boss lady, that's it, no more, we're not doing that. And because of the demand that we created, because we had a lot of clients, that sort of kept continuing, and she sort of like took over it from there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for those of you that don't know the Yellow Submarine, that's a huge place.
it is. It certainly is.
Underneath the Melbourne Magistrates
Court, yeah.
And there's layers of underground cells and all that sort of stuff, and it's a pretty shit place to be.
It certainly
Especially
is.
if you're coming off the H, like 4 days. You must have been struggling.
It was a long weekend.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, anyway, because he couldn't sort of like get me from that, so to speak, I think he had a family relation or something that worked with DHS, and they ended up coming in, because our house probably wasn't exactly the way it should have been and stuff like that. They ended up getting the kids taken off us. And I think that was a really big eye-opening turning point for us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the worst thing, man. Like, that'll be a big nudge to try and do the right thing, innit? Like, you lose your kids.
They were my world, mate.
Yeah.
You know, what Justine and I had created together, and they meant absolutely everything. And to have them taken, I think it devastated us both, to the extent where we were like, hang on a minute, we need to change this. But also I ended up, not long after that, having a high-speed motorbike accident.
Yeah, that's right.
Which sort of led me to where I am today, so to speak, you know.
Yeah, tell us about that.
I'd worked really hard. I had an old slab side GSXR, Suzuki GSXR 750 in an 1100 frame, and I rebuilt it basically from the ground up. Had all limited edition black fairing with gold decals, and
I remember that bike when I was young, coming to visit.
Dude, it was, I loved it, I really did. And anyway, we couldn't get it registered in Melbourne, so we ended up ringing up Benalla, which is up where Justine's mum was living at the time, and we got it booked in there anyway, so I rode up there and booked it in, got it registered for a whole 10-15 minutes. And upon leaving there, I was chasing Justine's brother, and he took off like a bat out of hell from this roundabout, and stupid testosterone sort of makes you think, hang on a minute, I can keep up with you.
Yeah, bit of an ego.
Yes. So I was like right on his tail, and too busy concentrating on the boot of his car to notice that there was a corner coming up. And before I knew it, I was hitting pretty high speeds and came to the corner, and didn't have time to gear down or prepare myself to go into the corner. like, you know, so I ended up riding straight off it, and I had my partner, Justine, on the back, and we rode straight off the edge. And my last memory is basically riding off the edge of the road, I suppose, and then landing it, and the bike kept sort of going, but somewhere along the line it must have thrown Justine off, and because I'd worked so hard on the bike, I couldn't let it go. I should have just hit the kill switch and jumped off it, but I couldn't do that, so I sort of held on while it flipped and did everything it did. So yeah, it sort of messed me up a bit, but it did mess up my partner Justine. It spiral fractured her right femur, which is from her knee to her hip, which is the hardest bone in the body to break. So yeah, she ended up with a metal rod down it, and 2 pins on her knee and 2 pins in her hip. And she actually sued me.
Oh, really?
Yes, she sued me because she was the passenger on the bike, and then TAC, because I had the bike registered, stepped in and actually paid it for her.
Yeah.
And that gave us a fair bit of money, so we could sort of get out of Melbourne and move up to where we live now, and get ourselves a little 5-acre property. And
it's a beautiful thing, you know, a blessing in disguise in a way, isn't it?
it was out of something traumatic came something quite beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, and I really feel, cuz if that hadn't have happened, and we hadn't have had the opportunity to come up here and escape the chaos, so to speak, there's every chance, mate, I'd still be in Melbourne chasing my tail.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful place you have here. We're in the sticks, and
We are.
You got a nice, pretty decent sized shack on the property. Nice shed. You got everything you need, and I'm really happy that you've gone down this road, cuz. So good.
Oh, likewise.
Really
It's been quite the journey to get here.
What damage happened to you in the accident?
In that accident, I had compound fractures from T6 to T9 in my back, C7 in my neck. I broke my left collarbone for the first time, and broke 3 ribs on the back right side of my back, and punctured my right lung.
Oof.
So it was all upper body.
Far out.
I think the bike must have flipped onto me, and
Yeah. Ouch.
I didn't feel much of it, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I tried to stand up after the accident, I'll never forget that, and just collapsed.
Yeah.
Tried to sort of get over to Justine to see what was going on, and I just collapsed.
Wow. That's crazy. Far out. How long was the recovery from that?
Oh my goodness, man. Easily it would have been, God, I suppose 6 to maybe 8 months.
Yeah.
It was a pretty lengthy recovery.
That's not your only accident though, is it?
No, I had one in 2008. I had my brother Jeremy on the back when my second oldest daughter was born, and we were heading to the hospital, going down Brunswick Street in Fitzroy, and I was coming down the road, and there was a guy on the opposite side coming the opposite way, he was a young P-plater, and I had eye contact with him. And when you're riding a bike, having eye contact with someone means that they know you're there and you know they're there. So I thought everything was okay, and I focused forward, and he actually must have taken off a bit quick or whatever and hit me in the back wheel, which made the bike sort of high side, so to speak, and throw me off and throw my brother off. And I broke my right collarbone for the first time in that particular accident. Wow. And then there was the second one where I had all the injuries I said to you prior.
Yeah.
And then after that, I got a little bit of money out from TAC, so I brought myself a Hayabusa.
Yeah.
Which is My ultimate bike.
Next level.
Absolute next level, yes.
I was sitting on that before, giving it a rev, and far out, that thing is adrenaline on wheels.
It is. It certainly is.
Yeah, you're a bit of an adrenaline junkie.
Yes.
Like myself. It's a good thrill.
It's a genetic thing.
Yeah,
Right?
it's in the genes.
Yes, but anyway, and then I was riding up the M8 freeway when we moved up here initially, and unfortunately a lady in front of me didn't really do a head check, and I moved from the right lane into the left lane and went to start to accelerate, and she obviously didn't look too much and went straight over into the left lane in front of me, which caused me to put my front brakes on, and otherwise I would have went straight up her ass, and caused the bike to lie down, and I slid for a couple of 100 metres and broke my left collarbone for the second time.
Far out. You and your collarbones.
I broke this one twice and this one once.
Far out.
Yeah.
That's unreal. And you're still going to jump back on the
What
bike,
happens
aren't
if
you?
you fall off a horse, sir?
Get back on.
You got to get back on, don't you? You don't let it beat you.
That's it. Yeah, wow. So, yeah, you've done some damage to yourself, yeah.
Yeah, I actually felt so much of that when I moved up here and got myself clean and stuff, and then jumped off the methadone. My gosh, the amount of pain that methadone potentially masks is
Really?
incomprehensible.
Really?
Oh, it is, mate. It's crazy. And then when I actually jumped off it, I had to deal with
Oh, wow.
like all of that at once. I didn't go to any doctors for it or anything like that. I just sort of pushed myself and dealt with it, and yes,
Wow.
it's character building, cuz. It's character building,
I
if
bet it
anything,
is.
mate.
I bet it is. Yeah. All right, let's have a break.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. All right, cuz, so what do you think the hardest thing about your life was, or your experiences, you know?
I think, honestly, mate, one of the hardest things was when we had the kids taken off us.
Yeah, that's.
I think that was the most heart-wrenching, and it was definitely the moment where we decided to get ourselves out of the situation we were in, I suppose, is a better way to put it.
Yeah. How long did you lose the kids for?
I think it was around 9-10 months.
Wow.
Which was quite quick, really.
Yeah.
You know, in comparison to what I've been told the average scenario is.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I had a really good lawyer. Her name was Liz Dowling, and the woman was known as the Bulldog when it came to dealing with Department of Human Suffering, I call them, DHS.
Yeah.
She was quite ruthless, and she really, really fought hard for you if you were willing to live up to what you said and did what you planned to do. The woman would fight tooth and nail, you know what I mean, for you to help you out. She was really, really cool, and I ended up in a room with her, and I think she sort of seen the desperation on me, wanting the kids back and needing the kids back in my life, to give me some sense of purpose. And she basically said to me, if you live up to what you say you're going to do, I'll fight my backside off to help you, you know, make it come true. So she was quite cool.
Yeah, so you jumped through all the hurdles and everything, and
'twas a big roller coaster ride, mate. It really was, cuz.
Yeah.
You know, it was full of a lot more downs than ups. But I think at the end of the day, when you can come out on the other side of the fence, so to speak, from that particular scenario, it builds a lot of character in you.
Yeah. Would you say that being at the lowest point in your life is what it took for you to start heading up?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't describe it any other way, mate. That was definitely when you hit rock bottom, mate. There's only one way to go, isn't there? You know, and that's up.
I think a lot of people experience that. They need to be at rock bottom to
Absolutely
to know, you know, the road to go down. Definitely.
and to understand your values and what's important and what's not. And
Yeah.
I suppose you learn that a little bit as you're climbing back up. But
Yeah. And what do you think the best thing that's happened to you within your life has been?
being where I am today, mate. Like if you asked me 10 years ago, mate, if I'd ever been in this situation, I would have laughed at you continuously, you know, thinking, not a hope in hell I'd ever be where I am today, mate, you know. I got a beautiful family, a 5-acre property, a great house. Most of my kids still live at home.
Yeah.
The oldest is 29, the youngest is 4.
Yeah.
And I really don't think I could be any happier than what I am today, mate.
Yeah.
You know, it's quite humbling.
Got grandkids?
I have 2 beautiful grandchildren
Yeah.
that my oldest daughter's given to me.
Yeah.
And it's a different kind of love you feel for grandkids. It's not any more or less necessarily than what you feel for your own kids, but it's very different and it's hugely special, man. You know,
Yeah.
Helps you sort of appreciate.
Yeah. What would you say that the biggest influences have been in your life, like people, family, or anything like that?
God, how much time do we have? But basically, mate, your dad was hugely influential in my younger years. You know, when my dad was in jail, your dad sort of, I suppose, kept me focused and kept me going. And, you know, he was quite a big inspiration in my life. You know, he was my protector. He was everything. You know, it was really, really, really hugely special to me. Also, I had bad influences that were also, in the end, a positive influence on me, in the sense of I learned not to do what they did, if you know what I mean. And my mum's partner now, his name's Ross. The man sort of like worked in a quarry for 20 odd years. You know, he built his way up from a maintenance worker up to, you know, pretty much the top, and then Burrell took over it and sent him to night school, and he worked his backside off and also studied and got himself to the point of being a manager. And that in itself was hugely inspirational. Not to mention my dad. You know, he came from a pretty traumatic childhood. Met my mum and sort of created me and my brother Dwayne, and then went to jail for so long. And when he came out of jail, he didn't even jaywalk, let alone try and do any other crime or anything like that, you know. So he was And he was someone who worked his backside off to get to where he is today, and he's built himself up, I suppose, from having absolutely nothing, and 3 times he'd been married, and the first 2 times sort of, had to walk away with nothing and build himself back up again, and got to the stage where he's with the wife he has now, who him and her have been together now for like, have to be 35 years or something like that, and they're both quite happily married, and he was a pretty big influence. Not to mention, I had uncles, that were quite inspirational to me.
Yeah.
Your dad was one of them. So many little things, mate, I suppose, have been influential to me, that I've sort of like picked out from different things that have been put towards me and made me who I am, basically,
And at the same time, we're doing that as well. Like you're an influence to a lot of people around you.
Right back at you, cuz.
There's your kids. They got friends that need this influence, and they need a bit of guidance and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I think you play a big part in that.
I try to do that, mate. My name Jason, actually in Greek mythology, means the healer.
Yeah.
And I think I've taken that on board, ever since I learnt that, and I think it's a good aspect to look at, and therefore, whenever I see people with problems, I'm quite happy to sit there and listen.
Yeah, I know. Your phone blows up all day, You're saying you just get phone calls flat out every day, and like people just calling for a chat.
Yeah.
A lot of people just need a listening ear.
Yep.
And that's all it takes, just accept the phone call, listen to what's on the other side. And,
that's it. 2 ears, 1 mouth, mate.
Yeah.
We listen more than we speak.
Yeah.
That's the key to being any sort of therapist or freaking friend or...
Yeah. Be patient, have a listening ear.
Yep.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yep, and take note of what's being said.
Yeah.
I think that's important too. You can sit there and just sort of listen to somebody and not really take everything in, and that's not quite as effective as somebody who actually listens and understands what they're hearing, and then can relay that back to the person so that they know that they're listening, which makes them more comfortable.
100%. Yeah, I agree. So, cuz, what's your goals like in the future? Where do you see yourself in, say, 10 years?
Gosh. In 10 years, I'd like to potentially have my house paid off. That would be nice, even though it's a 30-year mortgage. But anyway, look, mate, I think if I'm still functional and able to wake up in the morning and still breathe properly and do all the basic things, I think I'd be quite happy, mate. I really would, I don't want to be a multi-millionaire. I think money's quite evil. In reality.
It's the love of money that is evil. It's like what you do with the money.
Yeah,
in a way,
that is a good point.
Yes. Yeah. If you had $1 million, then it depends how you use that money. You don't love or idolise the money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you had $1 million, I would know that you would spend it the right way. You'd have good intention. Just for an example,
Yes.
So yeah, but keeping it simple is good at the same time.
It is. I mean, I think if you can get yourself into a headspace, mate, where money isn't the most important thing in life, you can truly, honestly learn to be humble.
Yeah.
You know, I think the way society is going, everything revolves around money, and you need money to be happy. You need money for this.
Yeah.
I don't think that's really the case, you know. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's what's drummed into us.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's what a lot of people do try and achieve.
Yeah.
But if you can learn to appreciate what you have around you, and it doesn't take money it doesn't cost money to show love. I suppose that's the bottom line, you know. Yeah. Love is something for free.
Yeah.
You know.
I agree. And it can be hard to break away from that, the materialistic world and everything. Yeah. So, I don't know, everyone's got to learn their own way. Could be the hard way, you know, but we hope that everyone learns in one way, shape or another.
That's right. That's right.
We all got our own journeys, but yeah. I forgot to touch on too that you were mentioning earlier about the cricket bat. You copped a cricket bat.
Yeah, that was in 2009. Isabel, my second oldest daughter, was only a baby. We'd come home from shopping. We were living in Reservoir, and all the kids had gone inside bar Isabel, who was sitting in the car seat, and the keys were still in the car, and we had these two guys that approached the front yard, and they seemed to think that I was somebody else. I mean, I'd never seen the guys before. I had no idea why they were there or what was going on. And they basically tried to put me down with their fists and stuff like that, but that didn't really work. So one of them picked up a cricket bat that my kids had left in the front yard, and instead of hitting me with the flat side of the bat, they hit me with the high side of it. And I went to reach into the car that we had at the time that had the keys in the ignition to get the keys out so they couldn't take that. And as I did that, one of them grabbed me from behind and swung me around, and as he swung me around, the other one wound up and pretty much caved the left side of my head in. Left me with a broken eye socket and shattered cheekbone and an ABI, attentive brain injury or something like that, a bleed on the brain.
Wow, man, you've been through the battles.
That doesn't kill you, cuz.
I can't believe you're still walking around and everything. the amount of damage you've done to yourself, it's unreal. Not, you know, I think the emotional and damage can have more effect on you than the physical damage.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
I think you've been through a lot.
Physical damage can also, that's in relation to the emotional damage, you know, that stems from that, doesn't it, really?
Yeah. And so when you lived in Reservoir, you were pretty much in the Bronx, weren't you?
Yeah, right near Crivelli Street, which is a pretty notorious street, you know, back in the day. They used to call it Little Chicago.
Yeah, I remember when you were around there. And at one stage, I actually lived around the corner there. I bet you throughout the whole video, it was sun shining.
Yeah, of course.
Less and less. Now we're almost in the dark. All right. Because if there is a message to send to anybody out there struggling with life, addiction, trauma, anything like that, what would your message be?
We can, whatever's in the past is only something that we can learn from. Anything that's happening today and tomorrow is something we have control of and we can potentially change. So if you've got past trauma, I suppose learning to accept that and potentially learn from it, and we are the pilots of our own lives, mate. We can dictate where we're going to head to. You know, try not to letting previous trauma sort of like go, I think, is the main key. It's not something that we can change.
Yep.
You know, it's something that's happened, and what we can change is what happens today and tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, and
100% agree.
yeah, I think that's probably the biggest message, and persistence is the key. You know, to it all. I lost count of the amount of times, mate, I tried to give up. You know, tried to stop what I was doing. And I think also, actually, another good point is getting myself away from the environment that I was in. Like I said earlier in the video, if I had still been in Melbourne, mate, there's no doubt in my mind I would still be chasing my tail, and I would have relapsed and stuffed up. Being able to move far enough away to give myself a chance of changing my life for the better, I don't think I would have been able to do it if I hadn't done that, you know?
100%, man.
Yeah.
And you're saying earlier too, you got to love yourself.
That is, yeah, that's so important, mate.
Very.
You know, no matter how many years you've spent sort of like self-punishing yourself. Me personally, my addiction, a lot of that was based on self-punishing, you know, not feeling worthful,
Yeah.
so to speak. And yeah, it's pretty much that, man. You know what I mean? Persistence. You've got to learn to learning to love yourself. I'm 51 years old, mate, and I'm only just learning to sort of appreciate myself, let alone eventually, hopefully, loving myself. You know.
Yeah.
It's quite a hard road, but it's worth every bit of effort. When you get to the stage where you're starting to do that, and you can look back on your life, you tend to I don't know, it helps you to appreciate it.
Yeah.
I suppose is probably a good way to put it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well said, cuz.
Thank you, mate.
All well said. And yeah, hopefully this reaches people that are struggling, and you know, there is hope. You've done amazing, cuz. You've changed your life around.
Yep.
A lot of people can't do this.
Not to mention that my partner also sort of like developed the drug habit with me, and we went through the journey of the addiction side of things together. And then we got to the stage of where the kids were taken away from us, and then we got them back and got all the money to be able to move up to where we're living.
As in, you always, to have somebody there by your side through the...
She, yeah, that's right. Like, if I hadn't have had someone like her, mate, she loved me through my mega high points in life, right down to the rock bottom, and she stuck fat through me, you know, through all the stuff, and we've actually came out of the drug habit still together, you know, 32 years later. I think that's
That's amazing. That's a blessing.
It's a very, very hard thing for you know, like from what we've heard from a lot of other people, you know, they get their kids taken off them when they've got their addiction problems, and instead of fighting for the kids, they tend to just want to give up and keep pursuing their lifestyle, you know, which is their choice, and I understand that, but
everyone's journey is different though, isn't it?
It is, mate. If we were all the same, mate, it would be a boring world.
Yeah.
You know, we're all uniquely different. We all deal with things differently. We all everyone's different, you know what I mean? My journey is never going to be the same as anybody else's journey. But I think the message of never giving up and learning to love yourself, appreciate what you have,
is what everybody can
and
do.
not concentrate on what you don't have.
Yeah.
Are some of the key elements, mate.
And everyone's capable of that, no matter the journey.
That's exactly right. Exactly right, mate.
No matter your circumstances, no matter your journey, you still can be persistent and love yourself. So I think that's the key message of
I
of it
totally agree. You couldn't have said it better, cuz.
all. Yeah.
You really couldn't have, mate.
Cuz, it's been an absolute pleasure. I have so much respect for you, you know.
I love you too, mate.
And all the best in the future. I know your future's looking bright. You're doing amazing things, helping people, helping the community, helping the people struggling with addiction and everything like that. And don't forget to reach out to Jason WITTINGSLOW on Facebook. If you're struggling, go and add him as a friend, send him a message through Messenger, and I'm sure he'll reach out and give you whatever advice or just be a listening ear. So guys, thanks for watching this video. Cuz, love ya.
Love you too, mate. Love you so much.
You're the man. Love ya. Guys, peace out. Thanks for watching.
Rock on, guys.
Rock on. Make sure you like and subscribe. Peace.